This video is about Elena Branson and her role in the Felicia Cowden Russian scandal. So let's talk about the Felicia Cowden and the Elena Branson Russian case, where we are at today, what harm was done, what potential harms could still be done, and what could be the possible outcome that affects not only the county, but the taxpayers. The current status of the case is this. Elena Branson fled the United States for Russia in October of 2020, following an FBI raid on her Manhattan apartment, and remains at large. Her case remains open as she is not returned to face trial, though an associate, Zarubina, recently pled guilty to spying for the FSB in connection with the investigation. The FSB is the Federal Security Service of the Russian Federation, and it's Russia's principal security agency and the main successor to the Soviet-era KGB. The question is, who is Elena Branson? Elena Branson is a dual U.S.-Russian citizen, charged in March of 2022 with acting as an unregistered agent of the Russian government in the United States. She founded the Russian Center New York in 2012, which prosecutors described as a propaganda hub funded by Moscow to influence American policy and public opinion. Elena Branson faces 6 felony counts, including conspiracy to act as a foreign agent, visa fraud, and making false statements to the FBI. Authorities allege she received approximately $173,000 from Russian officials between 2013 and 2019 to run influence campaigns, such as, quote, "I love Russia," end of quote, outreach targeting American youth and students at elite universities. She is also accused of lobbying U.S. officials, including Hawaii, to advance Russian interests. On December 17, 2018, Branson received a 31-minute phone call from a Russian diplomat just 42 minutes before she first emailed Felicia Cowden regarding the renaming of Fort Elizabeth Park. Court documents indicate this call likely provided the specific talking points or instructions Branson immediately relayed to Cowden. Russian diplomats, including Ambassador Anatoly Antonov, sent formal letters and emails expressing the Russian government's opposition to the park's renaming. Branson facilitated the delivery of these documents to Cowden and other Hawaii officials, often copying the diplomats directly on emails to lend official weight to the lobbying effort. In February of 2019, Felicia Cowden attempted to schedule a meeting for a U.S. congressperson with Branson and 2 diplomats from the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C. The diplomats were high-ranking personnel whom Branson organized for Cowden and other Hawaii officials to meet during their all-expenses-paid trip to Moscow and Vologda in May of 2019. This trip was designed to lobby the officials directly on Russian soil regarding the fort's history and name. Elena Branson acted as the primary logistical architect for the May 2019 trip to Russia, managing the following elements. She coordinated the funding and expenses. This trip was an all expenses paid trip for the Hawaii delegates. Branson secured funding from Russian government sources to cover flights and accommodation, including Felicia Cowden's stay at a Moscow hotel where her address was listed as Russian Federation and ground transport. Visa protocol coordination. Branson utilized her connections with the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C. to facilitate visa processing and arranging the high-level diplomatic meetings that form the core of the trip's agenda. Branson effectively bypassed standard U.S. government channels by organizing the group as cultural delegates rather than official government representatives, though Cowden's status as a council member was known to the Russian hosts. If apprehended and convicted, Elena Branson faces a maximum statutory sentence of 35 years in prison, based on 6 counts in the federal complaint. In addition to prison time, conviction would likely result in significant fines and the permanent loss of her U.S. citizenship, as she is a dual national. Branson has been a fugitive in Russia since 2020, and while Russia does not extradite its own citizens generally, Branson risks arrest if she travels to any country with an extradition treaty within the United States.